At 20, I thought I had life figured out, but looking back, I see how wrong I was. If only someone had told me these 8 truths earlier, I could have avoided so many mistakes. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see how these lessons can change your life too. Your 20s feel like a time to explore, make mistakes, and figure things out. But what if you didn't have to learn everything the hard way? Today I'm sharing 8 powerful lessons I wish I'd known at 20 lessons that would have saved me years of frustration, confusion, and wasted energy. These aren't just random tips, they're timeless principles that can help you build a life of purpose, success, and fulfillment. 1. Time is your greatest asset. When you're 20, it's easy to feel like you have all the time in the world. Days feel long, years stretch out before you, and deadlines seem distant. But here's the harsh truth: time doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how smart you think you are, what your plans are, time keeps moving, and every second that ticks by is a second you'll never get back. That's a reality I wish I had grasped when I was younger. Think of time as a currency. Unlike money, which you can earn, save, or invest to grow, time is non-renewable. Once it's spent, it's gone forever. Every decision you make is an investment of this precious resource. The question is, are you investing it wisely, or are you spending it on things that don't bring any real value to your life? Here's the thing about being 20, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking small choices don't matter. Scrolling mindlessly through social media for hours, binge watching shows, procrastinating on projects, these things seem harmless in the moment. After all, you've got tomorrow, right? But those small choices add up. They shape your habits, your mindset, and ultimately your future. Imagine this: if you saved just 1 hour a day and used it to learn a skill. In a year, you'd have invested 365 hours into that skill. That's nearly 10 full work weeks of focused effort. Now think about where you could be in 5 years if you made that small adjustment. Instead of just getting by, you'd be excelling. Instead of wondering where all your time went, you'd have something tangible to show for it. But here's the catch: recognizing the value of time isn't enough. You have to act on it. You have to take control of how you spend it. And that requires discipline. It's not always easy. In fact, it's often uncomfortable. But the alternative is far worse: reaching a point in your life where you're filled with regret, wishing you could go back and make better choices. Trust me, regret is a painful thing to live with. One of the most powerful ways to reclaim your time is by becoming intentional about your daily habits. Start by asking yourself a simple question: what's the most important thing I can do today to move closer to my goals? Then prioritize that. It's not about doing everything at once, it's about doing the right things consistently. Over time, those small, intentional actions compound into something extraordinary. Another key is learning to say no. Every yes you give to something is a no to something else. When you say yes to a late-night gaming session, you're saying no to a productive morning. When you say yes to meaningless distractions, you're saying no to meaningful progress. Saying no isn't about being selfish, it's about being strategic. It's about protecting your time and using it in ways that align with your values and goals. And let's not forget about the role of focus. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, emails, notifications, and endless entertainment options are constantly vying for your attention. If you're not careful, these distractions can consume hours of your day without you even realizing it. That's why focus is such a crucial skill to develop. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about cutting out the noise and dedicating your time and energy to the things that truly matter. One strategy I found incredibly helpful is time blocking. This is where you schedule specific blocks of time for specific tasks. During those blocks, you eliminate all distractions and give your full attention to the task at hand. It's amazing how much you can accomplish when you're fully focused. Even an hour of deep work can be more productive than an entire day of scattered effort. Now, let's talk about perspective. At 20, it's hard to see the bigger picture. The future feels distant and it's easy to get caught up in the moment. But here's something to think about. What kind of life do you want to be living in 10 years? What kind of person do you want to be? The choices you're making right now are shaping that future. You're either building a life you'll be proud of or one you'll wish you could escape from. It's not just about achieving big goals either. It's about the kind of person you become along the way. When you respect your time, you're respecting yourself. You're saying, my life is valuable and I'm going to treat it that way. That mindset has a ripple effect. It boosts your confidence, sharpens your focus, and helps you attract opportunities that align with your purpose. Finally, don't underestimate the power of reflection. Take time to regularly evaluate how you're spending your days. Are you moving in the right direction? Are there areas where you're wasting time or energy? Be honest with yourself, but also be kind. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and every step forward is a victory. So here's my challenge to you. Start treating time like the precious asset it is. Be intentional with it. Protect it. Invest it wisely, because when you look back on your life, it won't be the things you bought or the shows you watched that matter. It will be the moments you created, the skills you mastered, and the person you became. Don't wait for tomorrow to start valuing your time. Start today. 2, not everyone has your best interests at heart. When you're young, it's natural to assume people have good intentions. You trust easily, believe in the best in others, and think everyone wants to see you succeed. But the truth is, not everyone does. Some people will try to tear you down, distract you, or lead you astray. Understanding this early can save you from a lot of heartache and wasted energy. The reality is, life is full of different types of people. Some will genuinely support you, cheering you on and helping you grow. Others will see your potential and feel threatened by it. Then there are those who simply don't care about your goals and will unknowingly pull you off course. Recognizing these dynamics is crucial to navigating relationships wisely. Let's start with the ones who drain your energy. These are the people who always seem to have a problem, a complaint, or a reason why things won't work. They may not do it intentionally, but their negativity can rub off on you. Spending too much time around them can make you doubt yourself, feel stuck, or lose motivation. That's why it's so important to set boundaries. It's not about cutting people out of your life completely. It's about limiting their influence over your thoughts and decisions. Then there are the people who actively try to bring you down. Maybe they're jealous of your ambition, or maybe they're projecting their own insecurities onto you. Whatever the reason, their actions can be subtle or overt. They might criticize your goals, mock your efforts, or try to distract you with things that don't align with your priorities. The key is to recognize these behaviors for what they are, not let them derail you. Remember, their negativity says more about them than it does about you. On the flip side, there are people who genuinely want to see you succeed. These are the ones who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. They're the friends, mentors, and role models who encourage you to dream big and take action. Surrounding yourself with these kinds of people can make all the difference. They'll not only lift you up, but also hold you accountable to your potential. But here's the catch: to attract these kinds of people, you have to be one of them. Be the kind of person who uplifts others, who celebrates their successes, and who genuinely cares about their growth. The energy you put out into the world often comes back to you. By being a positive force in someone else's life, you'll naturally draw similar people into your own. Protecting your energy also means learning the art of saying no. This is especially hard when you're young because you want to please everyone. You don't want to disappoint your friends or miss out on opportunities. But here's the truth: every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goals, you're saying no to something that does. It's not about being selfish, it's about being selective. Your time and energy are limited resources. Spend them wisely. Another important lesson is not to take things personally. Not everyone's actions or opinions are about you. Sometimes people project their fears, doubts, or insecurities onto others because it's easier than facing their own struggles. Recognizing this can help you let go of resentment and focus on what really matters: your growth and happiness. One of the best ways to protect yourself from negative influences is to get clear on your values and priorities. When you know what you stand for and what you want out of life, it becomes easier to recognize when someone's actions or advice doesn't align with your path. Trust your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. Remember that you don't have to do this alone. Seek out mentors, coaches, or role models who can guide you and help you navigate challenges. These are the people who have walked the path before you and can offer valuable insights. Learning from their experiences can save you from making the same mistakes and help you grow faster. Not everyone will have your best interests at heart, and that's okay. What matters is that you do. Protect your energy, set boundaries, and surround yourself with people who lift you higher. By doing so, you'll create an environment that supports your growth and helps you become the best version of yourself. 3. Discipline equals freedom. Discipline. Just the word might make you cringe a little. It sounds rigid, strict, maybe even boring. For a long time, I thought so too. But let me share something that completely shifted my perspective. Discipline is not the enemy, it's the doorway to freedom. Yes, freedom. Now let's break this down. What does freedom mean to you? Is it waking up without worries, knowing you're financially secure? Is it having the energy to run around with your kids or explore the world without health problems holding you back? Maybe it's simply having peace of mind. Whatever freedom looks like to you, discipline is the bridge that takes you there. Take money, for example. If you don't have discipline with your spending, life can feel like a constant uphill battle. Credit card bills pile up, loans hang over your head, and every unexpected expense feels like a disaster. But when you're disciplined, when you budget, save, and spend wisely, you build a financial cushion. You're no longer stressed about where the next paycheck will go or how you'll handle an emergency. That's freedom, isn't it? The same principle applies to your health. Without discipline, it's easy to indulge in junk food, skip workouts, or ignore that little voice reminding you to take care of yourself. But here's the thing: those small, undisciplined choices add up. They turn into long-term consequences like chronic illness, low energy, and even regret. On the flip side, when you're disciplined, when you eat nutritious food, stay active, and prioritize rest, you gain energy, strength, and longevity. You're free to enjoy life without being chained to the consequences of poor health. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but discipline feels like deprivation. I don't want to miss out on life just to stay disciplined. That's a fair point. But let's reframe this idea. Discipline isn't about denying yourself. It's about choosing what matters most. It's saying, I'll trade this short-term pleasure for long-term joy. You're not giving up anything, you're investing in a better future. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're tempted to spend $50 on a fancy dinner. It's not that you can't afford it, but you know that saving that $50 could help you reach a bigger goal, maybe a vacation, a new car, or even financial independence. The disciplined choice might feel tough in the moment, but think about the reward. That small sacrifice builds momentum toward the life you truly want. Discipline is also the key to mastering your time. How often do we hear people say, I just don't have enough time? But the truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference lies in how we use them. When you're disciplined with your schedule, when you prioritize, plan, and eliminate distractions, you create time for what really matters. You're not overwhelmed by a chaotic to-do list because you've taken control of your day. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. One disciplined choice leads to another, and before you know it, you've built a life that feels free, fulfilling, and full of possibility. But here's the catch: discipline isn't something you master overnight. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small. Commit to one disciplined habit, whether it's saving a little money each week, exercising for 10 minutes a day, or simply waking up 15 minutes earlier. Over time, these small disciplines add up to big results. Discipline is freedom in disguise. The earlier you embrace it, the more freedom you'll create for yourself in the long run. So ask yourself, what kind of freedom do you want? And what disciplined choice can you make today to start building it? 4. Learn to manage your emotions. Emotions, they're what make us human, aren't they? Joy, anger, sadness, excitement, they color our lives in ways nothing else can. But here's the thing about emotions: they can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It all depends on how you handle them. Let's be honest, most of us at some point have let our emotions run the show. Maybe you've snapped at someone in anger or made a hasty decision out of frustration. I've been there too. At one point in my life, I let my emotions dictate everything. If I was upset, I lashed out. If I was disappointed, I gave up. It felt natural in the moment. But here's what I learned: emotional impulsiveness rarely leads to good outcomes. So let's talk about control, not suppression, but control. There's a big difference between feeling your emotions and letting them control you. You can feel angry without yelling. You can feel sad without shutting down. Emotional control starts with a simple but powerful skill: the ability to pause. Let me explain. When you feel an intense emotion, your first instinct is to react. It's human nature. But that reaction often leads to regret. A harsh word said in anger can damage a relationship. A decision made in fear can close doors that might have led to opportunity. The key is to pause. Take a breath. Give yourself a moment to step back and evaluate. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What's the best way to respond? This pause isn't just a mental exercise, it's a game changer. It gives you the power to choose your response instead of being a slave to your emotions. And when you choose wisely, you create better outcomes for yourself and others. Now let's talk about why managing your emotions is so important. First, it strengthens your relationships. Think about it: how many arguments, misunderstandings, or breakups happen because someone couldn't control their emotions? When you learn to pause and respond thoughtfully, you build trust, respect, and connection. People feel safe with you because they know you won't lash out or shut down. Second, emotional control leads to better decisions. Imagine making a big life choice, changing careers, moving to a new city, or investing in something. If you let fear or excitement cloud your judgment, you might overlook important details. But when you approach decisions with a calm, balanced mindset, you're more likely to make choices you won't regret. Managing your emotions gives you inner peace. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and frustrations. That's inevitable. But when you control your emotions, these obstacles don't have the same power over you. You learn to face them with resilience, knowing that your reaction, not the situation itself, determines your experience. Here's a practical tip: start small. The next time you feel irritated, take 3 deep breaths before you speak. If you're overwhelmed, step away for a moment to collect your thoughts. These simple habits train your mind to pause and respond rather than react. Emotions are like waves. They rise, they fall, and eventually they pass. But the consequences of your actions can last far longer. Choose wisely. So here's the question: what kind of person do you want to be? someone who's at the mercy of their emotions, or someone who controls them and builds a life of peace, strength, and connection? The choice is yours. 5. Focus on what you can control. Let me start with a simple question. How much energy do you spend worrying about things outside your control? Be honest. At one point in my life, it was almost all of it. I worried about what others thought of me, the state of the economy, global events, and even the weather. It was exhausting, and worse, it was useless. Here's the truth: most of life is beyond your control. The sooner you accept this, the freer you'll feel. You can't control how someone reacts to you, how markets fluctuate, or what happens tomorrow. But there is one thing you can always control: yourself. This realization changes everything. Once you shift your focus inward, life gets simpler. Challenges no longer feel overwhelming because you stop trying to change things you can't influence. Instead, you channel your energy where it matters, on your actions, your mindset, and your growth. Think about it. When you face a difficult situation, you have two choices. You can complain, blame, or stress about what's happening. Or you can ask yourself, what can I do right now? The first option keeps you stuck. The second moves you forward. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You're late for an important meeting, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to speed things up. Now you have a choice. You can sit there fuming, honking your horn, and letting stress consume you. Or you can take a deep breath and think, what can I control in this moment? Maybe you call ahead to let them know you'll be late. Maybe you use the time to plan your next steps or listen to something uplifting. The situation hasn't changed, but your response has, and that makes all the difference. Focusing on what you can control also helps you handle criticism and judgment. Let's face it, people will always have opinions about you. Some will be positive, others not so much, but here's the thing: you can't control what they think. You can, however, control how you respond. Instead of obsessing over their opinions, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. When you do that, you'll find that external validation matters less and less. Now let's talk about worry. Worry is one of the biggest thieves of energy. We worry about things that might never happen. We worry about problems we have no power to solve. But here's the key: worry doesn't fix anything. Action does. So the next time you catch yourself worrying, pause and ask, is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect your focus to something productive. This mindset doesn't just reduce stress, it brings peace. When you stop obsessing over things outside your control, you free yourself from unnecessary burdens. You start to live in the present moment instead of being consumed by what ifs. Let me share a powerful truth: your response defines you, not the challenges you face. Two people can go through the exact same hardship, but their outcomes will be completely different based on how they respond. One might give up while the other uses it as fuel to grow. Which person do you want to be? Start small. Practice focusing on what you can control in everyday situations. When someone cuts you off in traffic, don't let it ruin your day. When a plan falls through, don't dwell on the disappointment. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? Remember, life isn't about controlling everything, it's about controlling yourself in everything. That's where true power lies. 6. Wealth isn't just about money. When you think of the word wealth, what comes to mind? For most people, it's money, stacks of cash, a big house, a fancy car. And sure, financial success is part of the equation. But let me tell you something, real wealth goes far beyond dollars and cents. Imagine this: you have millions in the bank, but your health is failing. You can't enjoy a meal without pain, you're constantly tired, and your doctor's appointments fill your calendar. Is that wealth? Or imagine having all the money you could ever need, but your relationships are broken. You have no one to share your success with, no one who truly cares about you. Is that wealth? True wealth is holistic. It's not just about your bank account, it's about your health, your relationships, your knowledge, and your time. Let's start with health. Your body is your greatest asset. No amount of money can replace it. You can't buy back time lost to illness or energy drained by poor choices. So take care of yourself, eat well, move your body, and prioritize rest. Think of these habits as investments in your future. The returns? A life full of vitality and freedom to do the things you love. Now, let's talk about relationships. At the end of the day, it's the people in your life who matter most. A big paycheck means little if you come home to an empty house or strained connections. Invest in your relationships. Spend time with loved ones, show appreciation, and nurture meaningful connections. These are the moments that bring true joy far beyond anything money can buy. Then there's knowledge. Wealth isn't just about what you earn, it's about what you learn. The more you grow, the more opportunities you create for yourself. Read books, learn new skills, and surround yourself with people who inspire you. Every bit of knowledge you gain is an asset that compounds over time. Let's talk about time. Time is the most precious resource you have. You can earn more money, but you can't earn more time. Are you using your time wisely? Or are you sacrificing it for things that don't truly matter? This brings us to an important question. Are you chasing money at the expense of everything else? It's easy to fall into this trap, especially when you're young. You want to prove yourself, build your career, and achieve financial security. But here's the danger. If you focus solely on money, you might wake up one day to realize you've sacrificed your health, your relationships, or your peace of mind along the way. The key is balance. Yes, money is important. It provides security and opportunities. But it's just one piece of the puzzle. Don't let it overshadow the other aspects of wealth. Build a life where all areas, health, relationships, knowledge, and time are in harmony. So how do you build true wealth? Start by asking yourself what truly matters to you. What kind of life do you want to create? Then align your actions with those priorities. If health matters, make time for exercise and good nutrition. If relationships matter, invest in them. If knowledge matters, dedicate time to learning. Here's a practical tip. Set aside time each week to reflect on your wealth, not just financial, but holistic wealth. Ask yourself, am I taking care of my health? Am I nurturing my relationships? Am I growing mentally and emotionally? Am I using my time wisely? True wealth is about balance. It's about living a life that feels rich, not just in money, but in meaning. So the next time you think about wealth, remember it's not just about what you earn, it's about how you live. 7. Failure is part of the process. Let me ask you this, when was the last time you failed? Maybe it was a project at work, a business idea that didn't take off, or even a personal goal you didn't reach. How did you feel about it? If you're like most people, failure stings. It feels like a setback, a mark of inadequacy. For a long time, I believed that failure was something to avoid at all costs. But then I learned a powerful truth. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a critical step toward it. Think about this, every successful person you admire has failed. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. They didn't succeed in spite of their failures, they succeeded because of them. Each failure taught them something, shaped their character, and brought them closer to their goals. Failure is a teacher. It gives you feedback that success never can. When you fail, you learn what doesn't work. And that insight is priceless. It's like chiseling a block of marble. Every mistake chips away the unnecessary parts, revealing the masterpiece underneath. But here's the problem. Most people fear failure so much that they avoid taking risks. They play it safe, sticking to what's comfortable and predictable. And while that might protect them from the pain of failure, it also robs them of the growth and opportunities that come from it. Let me tell you, failure isn't something to be ashamed of. It's proof that you're trying, that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and reaching for something greater. The real failure is not trying at all. So how do you embrace failure? First, shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as the end of the road, see it as a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Treat every setback as an opportunity to improve, to grow stronger and smarter. Second, take calculated risks. I'm not saying you should be reckless, but don't let fear hold you back from pursuing your dreams. The greatest rewards come from the greatest risks. Even if you stumble along the way, those stumbles will bring you closer to success than standing still ever could. Finally, adopt the mindset of failing forward. This means using failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. When you fail, analyze what went wrong, adjust your approach, and try again. Each time you do this, you're building resilience, sharpening your skills, and moving closer to your goals. Here's a powerful exercise. Think back to a time when you failed. What did you learn from it? How did it shape you? Chances are that failure taught you something valuable, something that's contributed to who you are today. Keep that lesson in mind the next time you face a setback. The truth is, failure is unavoidable, but it's also temporary. Success, on the other hand, is built on the foundation of failures you've learned from. So don't fear failure. Embrace it, welcome it, and most importantly, use it to propel yourself forward. 8. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden. Every thought you have is a seed. Some seeds grow into beautiful flowers, while others grow into stubborn weeds. Now, here's the question: what kind of garden are you cultivating? For years, I underestimated the power of the mind. I thought success was all about hard work, strategies, and opportunities. And while those things matter, I've come to realize that the most important factor is your mindset. Your mind is your most valuable asset. It shapes your actions, your decisions, and ultimately your life. Let me explain. Your thoughts are incredibly powerful. If you constantly dwell on negativity, your mistakes, your failures, or the obstacles in your path, you'll find more negativity showing up in your life. It's like pouring poison into the soil of your garden. Nothing good can grow there. On the other hand, when you focus on growth, gratitude, and possibilities, you start to see opportunities where others see problems. You attract positive outcomes because your mind is primed to seek them out. This isn't just some feel-good idea, it's backed by science. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS, which filters information based on what you focus on. If you focus on what's possible, your brain will work to find solutions and opportunities. But here's the catch: a positive mindset doesn't happen by accident. It takes effort. Just like a garden, your mind needs to be cultivated and cared for. So how do you do that? First, be mindful of what you feed your mind. Every book you read, every conversation you have, every piece of content you consume, it's all planting seeds in your mental garden. Are you planting seeds of inspiration, knowledge, and optimism? Or are you allowing negativity, gossip, and fear to take root? Choose your influences carefully. Read books that challenge and uplift you. Listen to podcasts that expand your perspective. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to grow. Second, practice gratitude. Gratitude is like sunlight for your mind. It nourishes positive thoughts and helps you focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. It could be something as simple as a good cup of coffee or as profound as the love of a friend. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, and that shift can transform your entire outlook on life. Third, challenge negative thoughts. When a weed pops up in your garden, what do? You pull it out. Same goes for your mind. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough or this will never work, stop and challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or am I just letting fear speak louder than reason? Replace those negative thoughts with ones that empower you. Invest in learning. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Read, study, and explore new ideas. Knowledge not only expands your horizons, but also builds confidence. The more you know, the more equipped you are to handle challenges and seize opportunities. Let me leave you with this. Your mind is your most valuable asset, but it's also your responsibility. No one else can tend to your garden for you. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, so choose them wisely. Remember, a well-cultivated mind is the foundation of a fulfilling life. It's the source of your creativity, your resilience, and your ability to see beyond obstacles, so start today. Plant seeds of growth, nurture them with gratitude and learning, and watch as your life blossoms into something extraordinary. Here's the bottom line: your 20s set the foundation for the rest of your life. The choices you make now will ripple through every decade that follows. Don't wait until it's too late to start living intentionally. Begin today, even if it's with small steps. These 8 lessons might seem simple, but they're powerful. Time, discipline, relationships, emotional control, each one has the potential to transform your life. Don't wait for someone else to tell you what you need to hear. Take charge now.